right over a country, the resulting damage could disable a whole country, if not several in one blow, by disrupting communications and electronic functions. If satellites are hit, this disruption could go on for an extremely long time. But wait, would a nuclear bomb even break apart an asteroid? And more importantly, would breaking it apart even save the Earth in the first place? Most known asteroids in our solar system are found in the asteroid belt, where they orbit the Sun between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Scientists believe that the asteroids are the remains of planetesimals, which were early pieces of the solar system. Some asteroids are primitive, unchanged pieces of the original solar system that never formed into larger bodies, while others are the remains of differentiated pieces of the solar system, smashed to bits by Jupiter's strong gravity. While many asteroids mind their own business orbiting within the asteroid belt, some are affected by outside gravitational pulls and flung out, setting into different orbits around the solar system. If an asteroid is big enough to pose a threat to at least part of humanity, then it must be at least 1,312 feet in diameter. 6.2 miles in diameter is the threshold for extinction-class asteroids, which pose a much larger existential threat. Extinction-class is a nice scientific way of saying everything on Earth would be dead if an asteroid that big collided with our planet, except maybe cockroaches and Keith Richards. The asteroid that caused the Chicxulub impact and wiped out 3/4 of plant and animal life on the planet 66 million years ago, including the dinosaurs, was at least 6 miles in diameter, with some scientists theorizing that it was up to 50.3 miles long. The bad news is plenty of asteroids in this extinction class still exist, rocketing all around space. The largest known asteroid, Ceres, is a whopping 294 miles in diameter, or almost 48 times larger than the size needed to end us. The good news is, sizable asteroids rarely collide with the Earth. Only once every 160,000 years, according to NASA scientists. Also, according to NASA, detonating a nuclear bomb planted at or beneath the surface of a large asteroid, even an asteroid at the bare minimum threshold of 1,312 feet, would just cause the asteroid to break apart into still large pieces rather than obliterate it. These asteroid chunks might continue racing toward the Earth and still be big enough to cause significant damage. NASA believes it would be very difficult, if not outright impossible, to determine the way in which a nuke would break an asteroid apart, so there's little hope of controlling the size of the fractured pieces. Factors like size, center of gravity, and material — some asteroids contain carbon, while others are made of iron or stony iron — would affect the way an asteroid would fracture in most unpredictable ways. However, a nuclear device still could be used to guide asteroids away from the Earth through deflection. In fact, NASA scientists think this would be the best way to use nuclear bombs to avoid colossal damage to humanity and the planet by rogue asteroids. While surface and subsurface explosions would probably just split the asteroid, nuclear bombs that explode near but not on the asteroid, in a process called standoff explosions, would hopefully release enough energy to change the asteroid's course. Thus, the recommended strategy for winning people versus asteroid is a series of standoff nuclear explosions to push the asteroid another way. We might end up with a shattered moon, but that's a risk we'll take. Is there any real chance we'll have to use this strategy soon? Well, scientists think it's unlikely, as the probability of a large asteroid hitting our Earth in the near future is slim. However, the Apophis asteroid, even though it's relatively small at 1,100 feet, is worrying a few governments. It's projected to pass within 19,000 miles of Earth's surface on April 13, 2029. Even though this seems like a massive distance, it's relatively close in space terms. If you make the comparison, the Moon is 238,900 miles away from the Earth. The fact that Apophis is swinging by the Earth on Friday the 13th probably doesn't help ease people's fears. However, most scientists are looking at this event as a data-gathering bonanza, as objects that large rarely make their way toward Earth. Still, the director of the Russian Federal Space Agency, Anatoly Permanov, announced in 2009 that Russia will brainstorm ways of deflecting Apophis if it should come too close. Of course, Apophis isn't the only sizable asteroid making its way around the universe, which is why NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office exists. It may sound like a division of Star Trek, but the PDCO is a real agency that uses technology like telescopes and radar to map out the orbits of existing asteroids and detect new ones. Asteroids' movements are compared to known constants like background stars in order to estimate the speed and direction of their orbit. Radar is then used to obtain information about their size and shape of the asteroid. So if the PDO detects an incoming asteroid emergency, would detonating nuclear weapons to stop them still be on the table? Sorry to disappoint fans of explosions, but that's unlikely. If it helps, the existing options sound even more interesting. Lindley Johnson of the PDCO assures us that technology such as kinetic impactors and gravity tractors would be used to divert the asteroid. A kinetic impactor is a special high-speed spacecraft that collides into an asteroid to push it onto another path, while a gravity tractor is a spacecraft that flies alongside an asteroid using its own gravity to pull the asteroid in another direction. Mars, a cold, lifeless place, yet just a few meters beneath the surface, a secret underground base hums with activity. American astronauts walk the hallways of this secret base, talking and exchanging research notes with aliens from another planet. This might sound like the opening to a fantasy novel, but according to one of the most credible individuals in the world, it's our present-day reality. Dr. Haim Eshed is not a backwoods country bumpkin talking about strange lights in the sky and little green men putting probes where the sun doesn't shine. He's one of the most respected men in Israel and America both. A former general in the Israeli military, he's also the co-founder of Israel's space agency and considered a national hero for his efforts to launch Israel into the space age. More on that, he's a professor of aeronautics and astronautics and a member of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. As far as credentials go, short of being president, he can't get any better. And he has one message for the world. Revealed in a shocking interview in early December 2020, aliens are real and the American and Israeli governments are cooperating with them. According to Dr. Eshed, aliens representing a galactic federation of like-minded species have made contact with at least two governments on Earth, the Israeli and American governments. At this time, it's unknown if other governments are involved and that it's likely Israel's involvement is due to American cooperation, which would mean the other close U.S. allies such as Britain and France are also likely aware of the existence of these extraterrestrials. Don't worry, these aliens aren't here to eat your brains. Instead, they're curious about humanity and awaiting a time when humanity is mature enough to join their galactic federation of allied species who share the ultimate goal of understanding the universe. Well, admittedly, that's exactly what brain-eating space aliens would want you to believe. But according to Dr. Eshed, their intentions are so far peaceful. In fact, cooperation agreements have already been signed between the US and these aliens, resulting in a research laboratory on Mars itself where American astronauts work side by side with extraterrestrials. Current President Donald Trump, as of this writing, not only knows about the existence of these aliens, he nearly revealed their existence publicly, but was warned not to due to concerns over mass hysteria. Surprisingly, if Dr. Eshed's claims are true, it's the one piece of advice Donald Trump seems to have listened to. So, wait, is this for real? Let's explore the reasons why this claim is likely a fabrication, and why it might actually be real. As you'll soon see, Dr. Eshed is far from the only high-level, credible individual to have come out making a startlingly similar claim. First, let's investigate why this claim is likely false. Dr. Haim Eshed is certainly a credible witness as far as qualifications go, yet he is currently selling a book dedicated at least in part to his claims of extraterrestrial contact. That can't help but cast aspirations on his claim of space aliens. As the old saying goes, it can be hard to trust a man with a book to sell. In both the United States and Israel, though, there's another saying amongst the intelligence communities responsible for both protecting each nation's highest national secrets and discovering those of the enemies. And that saying is that aliens make great cover stories. A US CIA agent once famously said, "I love UFO stories because as long as people look up into the sky and see something weird and they're thinking alien spacecraft, they're not thinking secret US plane." This idea is pretty sound, and the fact is that it now has been proven that many UFO sightings over the years have in fact been sightings of aircrafts such as the American F-117 stealth fighter, the B-2 stealth bomber, and specially modified Black Hawk helicopters used by Special Operations Forces. Especially true when those aircraft are still in their secret design and testing phases and not quite yet public knowledge. The simple truth is that aliens make for a great cover story for secret government programs. Back to Dr. Haim Eshed. Dr. Eshed has a career in Israeli military, attaining the rank of general. He also helped found the Israeli space program, a vital element of the Israeli intelligence apparatus, as it was largely geared toward establishing a space-based military and surveillance infrastructure. For a country with as many enemies as Israel, a robust space capability is of the utmost importance. While Dr. Eshed may not have been directly employed by Israel's intelligence agencies, he was no doubt heavily in support of them in his duties with Israel's space agency. Given the extremely crafty nature of Israeli intelligence operations, amongst the most legendary in the world, It's not at all unbelievable that Dr. Haim Eshed is merely fulfilling one final task on behalf of the American and Israeli intelligence services, disseminating disinformation to act as a cover story for current and future secret programs. As he has himself stated publicly, he's 87 years old and no longer cares about his reputation. The claims of human alien